Hello, guys. Happy Tuesday. It's February the 23rd, 2021. It's Ms. Bland jumping on for Tuesday's lesson. Share my screen. I thought I already did it and I didn't. So, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you are watching this video. I hope it finds you well. Let's get started. Attendance, remember that if you do not complete anything in Seesaw today, I do need you to send me a thumbs up, an emoji, a smiley face, some kind of dojo telling me that you have been working so that your attendance in Power Schools can be marked. Remember, in Social Emotional this week, Ms. Vester gave us an awesome book yesterday about Howard B. Wigglebottom, and we need to make sure we use our eyes, our ears, our quiet, and our still in order to be the best student we can be. And we know next week, some of us on track B will be returning to the classroom, and it's going to be real important that we use all those things. And then the next week, track A is going to return on March the 8th, and you guys will need to use them too. So keep those in mind. Be mindful of what you see, what you hear, what you're saying, and how you're sitting. And we're also going to use our eyes to focus, our ears to listen, our mouth to respond, and our seating to show we're ready. So make sure you're doing all those things and getting ready for your return. Fluency. Remember, at the front of your packet, we have our fluency practice. Fluency talks about our accuracy to read the words correctly, the rate, not to read it too fast or too slow, the expression, do you read it with feeling or do you sound like a robot and want to put people to sleep? Oh, sorry. So, which way are you reading with your fluency? And of course, punctuation. When you see a period, when you see a comma, when you see an exclamation point, do you use those when you are reading? So, at the top, you are going to say all of your high frequency words for today. I'm going to say the word, repeat the word after me. Let's go down today. I think we went across yesterday. Let's go down today. Here we go. Very, hour, good, say, help, helped. Very good. Next column, same. I'll say the word after me. After, just, man, great, greatest, through. Last column, things, name, think, where. Then the next section are your phrases. Remember, you're going to practice all of your phrases every day. But then on Friday, Miss Bland picks 6 of them, and those 6 are the ones that you record yourself reading inside of Seesaw. Friday's assessment story is at the top. It says to start practicing it on Wednesday, but I know some of you've already read it, and that's okay too. But by Friday, be able to record that into Seesaw for Miss Bland. And during Friday's video, I will go over the questions at the bottom, and you will mark your answers. Our word ladder and vocabulary review. Inside of your packet, you have a word ladder. I want you to pause this video right here, complete that word ladder and your vocabulary. Both sides. Paper looks like this. Has a little boy. Says Tuesday up at the top. Try not to show my answers. Says Tuesday up at the top. I need you to complete your word ladder. The title of your word ladder is A Matter of Size. And the word at the bottom on the first part of the ladder is big. You are going to build the word up from big going up the ladder. And then there are 5 questions that deal with our new vocabulary words for our practice review time, which are rotten, stinky, mild, pleasant, and sweet. Ooh. So we talked about this week's topic was smell. Some of this rotten smells really, really bad. Stinky just has a bad smell, but it's not the worst. Mild, it's a medium smell. You smell it, but it's okay. Sometimes like people's perfume or cologne. You don't really like it, but it's not bothering you. Pleasant is a good smell. And then, of course, something sweet has a sugary smell. So I want you to pause here and I want you to complete your word ladder and your vocabulary review. Complete both of those. When you unpause, you'll be back and you'll be ready to check your answers with mine. Pause here. I'm going to hang out with my cows. I'm cool as they are. All right, you're back. If you're back, that means you have completed the word ladder for a matter of size, and you've also done your sentence clues for the vocabulary review words. Let's see if you got what I got. 1, 2, 3. In your packet page, check your ladder. Did you build from the word big all the way to the word small? Check and see. For your sentences, did you tell me or use the words that I used? The mild smell of the air freshener was nice. My mom smells something rotten, ew, in our refrigerator. The baby's diaper was so stinky that it had to be thrown away. The peppermint candy made my breath smell sweet. And Marta's house smelled pleasant after it was cleaned. Check your paper. Pause here if you need more time to change any answers. Great job to those that had to change nothing. Yay, you. Uh-oh, my screen is frozen. Oh, there we go. All right, Letterland this week. Letterland this week is Unit 23, and we are dealing with 3 sounds, but they all make that sound of or. Before, ignore, store, snored, shore, tore, and wore. Then we had our OOR, which was door and floor, and our OUR words, which are pouring, your, and forth. Let's listen to some live spelling. It's coming, guys. I hope. There we go.
Hi, second graders. This week we're going to be working with Orville Orr for our spelling. So we know Orville Orr is a robot and he works with Red Robot. And he's in such a hurry that he steals vowels and changes their sound. So OR says or. Now this week we're going to learn some different combinations. Orville Orr is in such a hurry that he grabbed an extra vowel. He grabbed the U, but he still says or in our words. In this spelling pattern, Orville Orr grabbed another O, but he still says or. And we're going to have some words this week with the magic E. Magic E is trying to save the orange, but Orville Orr is taking in all the magic sparks in his robot arm, so we only hear or. So let's look at some of our words. So for this combination, we have k or course, ord, poured, and y or your. So those are our 3 words for OUR. Let's look at our OOR words. OOR says or, like full, or floor, d or door, and p or pour. All the magic sparks are being sucked into Orville Orr's arm, so all we hear is or. Like in the word sh or shore, sk or score, ignore, explore, or, bore. And in this one, we drop the E and add ing, boring, boring. And here are our tricky words, orange and touch. This week, we're going to be using Spelling City and doing some sorts on Seesaw to practice our spelling patterns.
And you have a
See you
sort
later.
on
Bye, second graders.
You have a sort in Seesaw today that you are to complete using your spelling. All right, inside of our English language arts this week, guys, we are working still in Unit 4, Week 2. And our story this week is about the changes to Earth. On page 274, if you open your book up, you see the vocabulary words for this week. Active, earth, explode, island, local, properties, solid, and steep. Please review those on page 274. Read each sentence and each blue question or statement up under. To be active, the active kids were racing down the street. It means you're moving, something that is lively. It's moving, it's giggling, it's laughing. You're doing something. Earth, worms like crawling in fresh earth. The ground or land that we walk on. That's the earth. To explode, to burst loudly and with a lot of force. The soda exploded everywhere. An island, land that has water all around it. The only way to reach the island is by taking a boat. There's water in the front, there's water in the back. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't know my camera was still off. There's water in the front, there's water in the back, there's water all around. That's an island. An island is surrounded by water. Look at the picture. Local, something nearby. We picked strawberries from a local farm. Mr. Rob Glover, he has a nice farm over by the Quick Pick. If you've never gotten strawberries or sweet potatoes or some fruits and vegetables from there, you can go to Dean's in Wilson. You can go to the farmer's market. There's all kinds of places that have local people who grow these amazing things that we get to taste and enjoy. That's one of the biggest benefits of being in the country, is that we still have those wonderful options. Properties, the different ways something looks or acts. It looks at the property of the two different pine cones. So they have two pine cones. They're looking at the way of their shape, their size, how they feel. Your five senses are huge when you talk about properties. Solid, something firm and hard that keeps its shape. They use cement blocks to build a solid wall. And steep, something that has very sharp slope, something that goes straight up. When you stand over it, you're like, oh no, Ms. Blaine has a fear of heights. So when I look down on a steep cliff, I'm like, oh no, get me back. All right, your vocabulary practice page. Look inside of your packet to the next page. You should see your vocabulary practice page. On this page, our two words for today are explode and island. You are going to pause here. You are going to write down both of those words. With the word, you're going to use that word in a sentence. It can be an asking sentence, an excited sentence, or a telling sentence. That's your choice. And you will give me a small picture that goes along with what sentence you chose. Pause here to complete your two words, explode and island, for vocabulary practice for today. Great, glad to have you back. I hope those two sentences are amazing, and I hope you didn't forget your picture. So our essential question for today, how does the earth change? We know that in our story, we talk about how the earth changes because of erosion. Big word, but it was an easy explanation once we saw some pictures and heard our story. Our story is expository text. It gives us facts about a topic, and the topic is real. There's going to be some text features such as photographs, captions, diagrams, all those things as we look at it. Into the Sea. Into the Sea is our story for today. If you will turn to the story inside of your book, I ask that you follow along with me with your finger, sitting straight up in your chair, ready to read. You should be reading along as the reader reads so that you are gaining comprehension.
Genre, expository text. Into the Sea. What is erosion? Have you ever made a sand castle at the beach? You must pick a good spot for it. If it is too close to the water, waves will quickly wash it away. Ocean waves and wind can also wash away land. They can change the shape of an island, which is land circled by water. When wind and water change the shape of Earth, it is called erosion. Waves are the biggest cause of erosion at the beach. Ocean waves are always active and moving onto the shore. They carry the sand away bit by bit. Strong waves are one of the properties of big storms. These waves explode as they crash onto the beach. Storm waves can move a lot of sand quickly. Erosion of beaches. Some people build houses near the ocean. Waves take away the sand between the houses and the sea. As the beach disappears, the water gets closer to houses and other solid buildings on the beach. Some buildings can even be washed away. Erosion of rocks. Erosion also happens on steep, rocky cliffs or sharp slopes. First, waves smash into the bottom of the cliffs. Then they carry away tiny pieces of rock. Over time, many small pieces of rock wash away from the bottom of the cliff. This makes the top of the cliff weak. The cliff can crumble and fall into the sea before erosion. After erosion. Stopping erosion. Some local communities work to stop erosion to nearby beaches. These towns have built seawalls of large boulders or rocks. The rocks are placed in a row in the sea. When waves hit the seawall, they slow down. Then the waves can't pull sand away. Some towns make rules about building on the beach. New buildings must be far from the water. Then they won't wash away like a sand castle.
All right. If you need to reread your story, that's a skill this week. You may pause here and reread your text. If not, we're going to walk through it just a little bit and kind of talk about some things. We talked about erosion. That is a huge word for this week. And we talked about that erosion happens when wind and water change the shape of Earth. Those waves are the biggest cause of our erosion on the beach. We looked at that awesome sandcastle picture as our first example of how that wave is coming in and that poor sandcastle is not going to make it. But the same thing is happening to the beaches, guys. Look at the top of page 278 inside of your book. Look at the first picture and how it compares to the second. Over time, bit by bit, that erosion is taking away the sand. Look at the differences in the shore. It happens. But there are people that are working to stop erosion, and there are things that are happening, such as the seawalls that want to slow down the waves and hopefully slow down the amount of sand that's pulled out. So there's stuff in the works. We talked about cause and effect. Because something happens, there's an effect. Building a sandcastle by the shore. What was the effect? The waves will destroy the castle. It's too close to the end. Then we talked about erosion at the beach. What is the effect of erosion at the beach? It's the fact that the sand is taken away. Slowly but surely, the sand is removed. And then building seawalls. What will be the effect on the beach of building those seawalls? It will slow down erosion and it will take away less sand. Pause here to get these down inside of your packet page. Remember that cause is the reason why something happens and the result is what happened. All right, you're back. So that means you're ready to move on. The next page is your text evidence questions. Please use your textbook to answer each of these questions about our story for today in the sea. You may pause here to complete, or you may complete on the end. If you need to stretch, wiggle, or get out your shakes, this is a great time to take a break. Ms. Bland will need you to pause here because I'm going to keep rolling. No breaks for me. These are some of the skills we're working on this week. Main idea, key details, cause and effect, and reread. But we know our focus for the last 2 days has been on cause and effect. The why and the what. Your next packet page, you are going to be matching the cause to the effect. I encourage the boys and girls this morning on Zoom to use their crayons and match in different colors so that your lines wouldn't get you all confused. So we did the first one. It was snowing outside. So the math teacher had the students measure snow during class. Made sense? What? The why? Number 2, Tony forgot to do his math homework. Oh man, Tony. We matched it to letter A. His teacher made him do it at recess. There's my match. All right. Take time to either complete, sorry, I didn't mean to turn the page. Take time to either finish completing the cause and effect now, or you may complete them on the end. I do encourage you to use different colors. If you do not have crayons available to you, then please be very neat with your pencil. Miss Bland's eyeballs will go across trying to see this. All right, for math, we're doing a review today. And Mr. Cal wants to remind us that we review so we won't forget. And you're going to start off with the first page. On the first page, Miss Bland has built some numbers for you. I used my spinner mind with the class this morning. What I told them was that for the ones at the bottom where you're building your number, I just turned my pencil upside down so it's the eraser part. I put it over the circle and just picked one. And you can do the same for the last two where you're building your own number. You are going to write down all the numbers in purple and green that I have, and you're going to build that number for me. So for the first one, I had 4, 20, and 500. That is the number 524. Then I have built 3 other numbers that you will need to tell me what that number will be in standard form. At the bottom, there are 2 blanks. You may turn your pencil upside down and come up with your own using the spinners at the top of the page. Part number 2 is place value review. You're going to be renaming the units, but we're not cutting. We're not cutting. If I see this paper turned in and you've cut, then I'll know you didn't watch my video. Make sure you don't cut. I've gotten some papers that things have been cut and we don't cut inside of our packets unless there's nothing on the back. There's something on the back of this. So you're going to match the 10s and 1s, looking at the number, find it at the bottom that matches. Now, the first one was easy. There was 1 10 and 0 1s. We marked it out. We wrote it at the top. When we got to the second one, the boys and girls were like, oh, I got this, Miss Bland. It's 3 10s and 2 1s. But when we looked at the bottom, there wasn't one that said 3 10s and 2 1s. So we had to rename it. We had to break it apart and play with it a little bit. So they said, well, what if we break up a 10? I said, why not? So we took one of our 3 10s, broke it apart. That left us with 2 10s. Then the 10 1s that we broke apart and the 2 1s we already had, 10 and 2 made 12, and 2 10s and 12 1s was one of our answer choices. So keep that in mind that you may have to rename as you go through. The next page is easy peasy lemon squeezy. You are going to find the 2 numbers that equal 10 and you're going to color them. I told my friends this morning that did not have crayons, you are welcome to put an X with your pencil. Don't color with your pencil. That always leads to a messy situation. You can put an X with your pencil. Once you combine those 2, so I looked at this one, let's look at this one. I colored 5 plus 5 because that gave me 10. That left me with 4. I put my 4 here. 10 plus 4 was 14. 14 here. I had 2, 1, and 8. 2 plus 8 is 10. There it is. I had 1 left. 1 goes here. 10 plus 1 is 11, and 11 goes in this answer box as well. This one was 9, 1, and 3. 9 plus 1 gave me 10. My 3 was my other number. That gave me 13. You will complete the rest. On this side, we broke apart each number. After we broke apart the number, we added the 1s together. Then we added the 10s together. Then we added the 1s and the 10s. I'm going to say that again. We broke apart the number. 15 broke apart. 25 broke apart. 17 broke apart. Then we added the 1s. 5 1s, 5 1s, 7 1s, 5 5 7. Found the answer. Then we added our 10s. 10 plus 20 plus 10. 10 plus 20 plus 10. Answer. Then we added those 2 numbers together. Total for my 1s, total for my 10s, gave me an answer. Pause here to make sure you get those 2 copied down. Try the last one by yourself. Pause here to try the last one by yourself. Excuse me. All right, you're back. Let's see if you can get this if you got the last one right. 10 and 9. because we're doing break apart first. 30 and 1, 20 and 6. So you should have had 10 and 9, 30 and 1, 10 and 20 and 6. First thing I'm going to do is add my ones. 9 plus 1 plus 6. I know that 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. Then I'm going to add my 10s. 10 plus 30 plus 20. 10 plus 30, 40. 40 plus 20, 60. Then I'm going to add them together. 16 plus 60. I know that 16 is 10 and 6. So 60 plus 10 is 70. And 70 plus 6 is 76. Did you get 76? And did you make sure you wrote it in the box? Pause here if you need more time copying. On the next page, you're going to do the exact same thing we just did. Excuse me. You're going to do the exact same thing we just did on the next page for those 4. For the break aparts, this is what we did yesterday. You may do it any way you choose. You can add 2 numbers, then add the third. You can add 2 numbers and then add the other 2. Put them together. You can make the 10s that they suggest you make. Ms. Bland is totally leaving your method up to you. Just be careful with your math. And your president for today. Our president for today is Mr. Franklin D. Roosevelt. So inside of Seesaw, you have a link to this book in Epic. You have a link to both of these websites. And you also have some facts about him that you can turn into real sentences. You must have 5 sentences that cover 5 facts about President Roosevelt. Remember, this is a report, so there will not be any number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be written as a report. We write sentences to the end of the line. When we finish a sentence, we start the next sentence right behind it. It is an informative writing. It is not making a grocery list. So there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is already posted inside of Seesaw, so you may complete it there, but make sure you write your president's report on the piece of paper that is provided inside your packet. That is what will be great. Questions before you go. Questions later on. Questions whenever. Ms. Bland is here to answer them. If you come up with a question, I will try my best to get you an answer. Now, what does Ms. Bland need from you today? I need you to complete your packet pages. You've got math, you've got Into the Sea, you've got your president's report. They need to be done. Inside of Seesaw, I was very light today. All you have is spelling practice and your president. Why? Because I want you to do iStation if you can. I would love to get iStation finished today and tomorrow, but iStation needs to be done by the end of the week. And then, of course, you're welcome to go to Epic. There's another couple books about Franklin D. Roosevelt. They don't read to you, sorry, but you can go through and pick out. I bet you are amazing at reading, that you can pick out some of the things, even if the book is a little harder than you're used to reading, that you need to get 5 sentences. No worries. All right. If you need something, you let Ms. Bland know. I will be here to help you out and make sure you get it. If not, I will see you tomorrow, whether it's Zoom to Zoom or screen to screen or video to video. We will be back together then. If something comes up and you need something, please just reach out and let Ms. Bland know what that is, and we will try to make sure that happens. As far as announcements, just a reminder, track A is the only track picking up packets this week. Track B, you are returning to school on Monday, so you do not need to come pick up a packet. Just track A. If you don't remember what track you're on, let me know and I'll try to give you some clarity. If you have questions on anything else, track A for return, let me know. We had a staff meeting yesterday. There's not a whole lot of changes. The time change is different. We are now going to be together until 1:45 instead of 1:15. So that extra 30 minutes, I guess that's probably the biggest change. But there's a couple other things that I'll send out in the dojo flyer before the week is over. Just trying to make sure I only have to send one flyer. So have a great afternoon. Finish all of your work. Make me proud. Do amazing in iStation. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Have a great day.